Hello again, everyone. This is Bob Pompeani, and welcome to Eye on the Majors. We'll be taking a look at all the major championships in golf, and we're going to start with a recap of what happened at the Masters. You know, everyone wants one of those green jackets. I have one. I haven't earned it, but I figured it was appropriate to wear for this occasion. Anytime you talk about the Masters, it definitely brings the attention and the viewership, and this year was no exception, as 12.7 million people watched what happened to Augusta, Georgia. And it all started not on Thursday, which is the first day. It actually starts on Wednesday because they have the very popular par 3 contest. And on this day, you normally can see a hole-in-one or two. On this time, they had 3 of them. Keegan Bradley was one to knock it in the hole on an 89-yard par 3 that went right in the hole. And then you had Tom Hoge, who followed that up with one later in the afternoon. And then the third and final one, Brooks Koepka got one. 3 on the day, but despite all of that, the biggest crowd, the biggest applause, that happened when Rory McIlroy's daughter, Poppy, was on one of the greens and decided to take a putter and just get the ball going toward the hole, and it went in, and it brought everyone to their feet, a standing ovation for Poppy McIlroy. And it just so happens that that was probably an omen of things to come, because when this first round began, we always have the traditional ceremonial tee shots. Jack Nicklaus was there, a 5-time winner. Also, Gary Player, one of those guys who's won a major down at the Masters. He also hit a ceremonial tee shot, as did Tom Watson. And with that, the event was on. And boy, what a first round we had. How about Justin Rose? Speaking of guys who've been around for a while, he's 44. That's not old by anyone's standards, but in golf, it may be. Not many guys 44 win, but he has now led the Masters on 5 different occasions, and this was one of them. He shot an opening round 7 under 65. And when that happened, well, you say, okay, it's round 1. Things are likely to change. But he did a very good defense of his first round as the event continued to roll on. But there were also some very good scores. Guys that you would expect, guys like Scotty Scheffler. He produced a 4 under 68. He was just 3 off the lead. How about Ludwig Åberg? This is a young 24-year-old who's really been good in some of these big-time major events. Now, last year he had a good Masters. This year he was in contention until the end, but he also was right there at -4 after one round. And then you had Tyrrell Hatton, along with Bryson DeChambeau. DeChambeau, of course, won the U.S. Open last year. He was one of the favorites coming into this, and he opened up with a sub-70 round. In fact, he had 3 of them in this golf tournament. But one of the shots of the day on the first round belonged to Freddie Couples, another guy who's been around for a long one. He had number 14, a par 4. He, on his second shot, hit a hybrid right into the hole for a rare eagle on that hole. He shot an opening round 71. He did not make the cut, but certainly Freddie Couples is one of the most popular guys on tour. The other thing I want to mention about how this Masters can be, you can see some good scores. You can see birdies and eagles, but you also see some big-time blow-up scores. And we saw one produced by Nick Dunlap. First round, a 90. This is an up-and-coming guy on the PGA Tour. He followed that up the next day with a 71. When we come back on Eye on the Majors, we will take a look at rounds 2 through 4, a thrilling finish at Augusta National. All right, welcome back. Eye on the Majors as we take a recap of the 89th Masters, which you saw on CBS and KDKA. And boy, rounds 2 and 3 produced some very interesting ups and downs. A lot of guys fell out of contention. Others moved up into contention. And specifically Justin Rose, he did a very good job in round 2, but then on round 3, he shot a 73 and moved down a little bit on the leaderboard. And what happened was a major move on Saturday by Rory McIlroy, first guy ever at the Masters to start the first 6 holes with all 3s. That included an eagle on the second hole, a par 5. You don't see that very often. 3-3-3, 3-3-3. And he had another 3 on the back 9 on number 15, a second eagle on the day, and that catapulted him to the lead on Saturday. Right behind him, however, was Bryson DeChambeau on the third round, his last shot of the day. It was a 54-foot putt that he had to make to stay within 2 of the lead, and he made it. And it was one of those moments that you said, okay, DeChambeau's feeling pretty good. The crowd's in his favor at this point, but that allowed him to move into the final pairing with Rory McIlroy. So as you take a look at what happened after rounds 2 and 3, you'll see that McIlroy had the lead heading into the final round. He jumped 3 guys to get there at -12. DeChambeau, with that birdie on the last hole, got to -10. Connor's still alive. Rose had dropped all the way back to 6. He started the day 6 shots off the lead, but he closed the gap on Sunday in what was a thrilling final day. He came back, put some pressure. They go to the 18th hole, and Rose nailed a 20-footer. He puts that thing in, and all of a sudden he's tied for the lead. And Rory McIlroy still had a chance to win, but he made a mistake as he goes into the bunker, couldn't get up and down, so that forced a playoff. And it just took 1 hole to complete. We'll talk about that when we continue. It was McIlroy and Rose in a playoff. The last time it happened was 2017, and Justin Rose was involved with that one as well. We'll recap that when we continue. Eye on the Majors right here on our stream. Welcome back to Eye on the Majors as we recap the 89th Masters Tournament, one that went into sudden death. Yes, it was Rory McIlroy, along with Justin Rose, tied for the lead. So they go into a sudden death, and it could go as long as it needed to go. They started on 18, and if they had tied that hole, they would have gone to number 10, but they only needed 1 hole. It started with Rose with a beautiful drive down the middle, putting some pressure on McIlroy. He then followed with an equally outstanding drive. So then Rose is away. He goes first. And normally, this is a kind of a match play thing going on in sudden death. He puts the pressure on McIlroy with a beautiful approach shot to 15 feet away. But McIlroy, after he just bogeyed this same hole just minutes earlier, he put on the shot of the day just 3 feet away. So he had the advantage. That meant Rose knew he had to make the putt, and he just slid it by. It was no good. And that set the stage for Rory McIlroy to do it. He did. And then the emotions took over as he fell to the ground, completing the career Grand Slam. And he was emotional afterwards as well when he talked about what it meant to win at Augusta.
It's an honor of a lifetime to be standing here. I've dreamt about this moment for so long, and I can't wait here. I can't wait to be here again next year in Scotty's position, hopefully putting the green jacket back on myself. Thank you so much.
So Rory McIlroy finally gets that done. It took him 10 years to win at Augusta and so many ups and downs along the way. What about Justin Rose? Well, he's come close too many times, and he's 44. Who knows if he'll get a better chance than what he had this past week. This are the most runner-up finishes without a win, and you can see that Tom Weiskopf, with 4 of them, leads the way. He's come close a lot. Justin Rose now 3 different times, along with Johnny Miller, Tom Kite, and Greg Norman. As far as the final round leaderboard, this is the way it looks. McIlroy takes home nearly $4 million, but a lot more than that when it comes to endorsements. 277 tied with Rose. I'll tell you something, Patrick Reed, if he did not miss a putt on 13, could have been in this playoff. He was close. Scheffler battled back with a final round 69. DeChambeau fell apart at 75 at -7. So when we come back, we're going to talk about next year's champions dinner, because now it's McIlroy's turn. What's he going to have on the menu? I know what I would have on my menu, and I'm going to share that with you when we come back. Eye on the Majors, a recap of the 89th Masters. All right, welcome back. Eye on the Majors. Bob Pompeani here as we look back at the 89th Masters and what an event it was. One thing you know with this, that Rory McIlroy joined a very exclusive club, and that would be the Grand Slam in a career. Not many guys have done it. It's a short list. Gene Sarazen, career Grand Slam winner, as was Ben Hogan, Gary Player, Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, and now Rory McIlroy. So next year he gets the honor of picking out the menu. The champion always gets that honor for Tuesday night, the champions dinner. All those previous winners get together and have a great night. So I wonder what's going to be on the menu. I know if I won, which I never will, but if I did, this is what I would have on my menu. Let's see if you like this one. We're going to start, of course, with a signature drink. That's how you do these things. It's going to be the French martini. Those of you who know me know you like that drink. At least I do. How about the appetizers? A Caesar salad and seafood bisque. Got to have that. A little sauteed garlic shrimp as well. The main course, now this will have a choice. It'll be some wood-fried country ribeye or a pan-seared Chilean sea bass with lemon butter sauce. You got to like that. Whipped potatoes, then some garlic Brussels sprouts, just to complete that whole dish. As far as dessert is concerned, anyone who knows me knows I love chocolate, so chocolate mousse with raspberry sauce, and of course you got to have the after dinner drink, And if you know anything about Louis XIII, you know that's an expensive drink, but they put the bill up on the actual membership down there. So I don't care. I'll spend the money better than most. Louis XIII to kick it all off. So next up, when we're talking about majors, they've changed it over the years. It's going to be the PGA Championship. That'll take place in May before, of course, the U.S. Open comes to Oakmont in June. And when you talk about the next one, the PGA, you got to talk about Rory McIlroy again, because he's very comfortable where it's going to be played, which is Quail Hollow in North Carolina. This is a place he's won 4 different times. When you look at it, his scoring average is pretty significant down there at 69.48. Better than just about everyone by a full shot. How about 102 collectively under par? This guy has just dominated, and I think more than anything else, now that the burden of winning the career Grand Slam is off his shoulders, you better watch out, because you may be hearing the roars once again in May at Quail Hollow. That'll do it for this week's edition of Eye on the Majors. I'm Bob Pompeani. We'll check you out in May as we recap the PGA Championship and then look forward to the U.S. Open coming to Oakmont in June. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in May.